activated. Gundam fight all set. Ready, go!
Why, hello there, Internet folks. This is Ironcaster here, and sorry about last week there. I got a little caught up with some IRL stuff, and as such, we weren't able to quite do the Mechpit chat. So I guess I want to go ahead and apologize to everyone out the gate because life happens. But with all of that said, how are we doing, everyone? Welcome one and all to the Mechpit chat. I, of course, am Ironcaster here to talk with you about all the big bots, the little fun, and I guess everything in between. How are we doing, folks? Oh, how are we doing? It's kind of weird. There's days where you feel like maybe I don't want to go live, but you have to kind of force yourself to push through it because it's important to keep to a routine and ultimately trying to, keep going at it until you can make it work. That's how it goes sometimes. Unfortunately, it feels like there's some days not enough hours in the day, but also I also know that I'm looking at myself thinking I could have spent my time better today than playing this stupid, mobile game. But it's ultimately about a question of time well spent. I guess that's sort of one of the big things going on today. It sort of happens though. And the big thing going on right now, it seems like all the talk of tariffs is all the, everything's going up in price. And ultimately there's a big question of how well are we spending our time? How well are we, taking advantage of the time spent on life? Is the investment I've put into this worth it in the end? It's something I find myself oftentimes kind of stopping to ask myself about, oh, hey, here's a bunch of hobbies that would be really fun to get into. And they sure look fun, but do I have the time to justify picking up another hobby? I mean, I'm still kind of getting into like 3D printing terrain and all this and trying to find myself time to paint, which, hey, we're making progress. I mean, this is supposed to be like some little tree bushes for terrain. But it feels like it's well spent. And plus I was like, it's got me to stop and think about the ways I've spent money in the past. For example, buying tons and tons of miniatures that I totally told myself I'm going to paint. And then I just kind of didn't. Like I've got a box of shames that's been sitting here for the better part of a year and a half. That's been just kind of collecting dust. I need to kind of make the most of it. I need to force myself to, kind of stop and reconsider these things. And honestly, the funny thing is, I then went and spent the money. I picked up a 3D printer. So now I can print even more miniatures that I still haven't painted. And I've got an airbrush. And so now I have all these extra tools in this that I can turn around and justify to myself that I could sit here and do more painting. And it's got me to stop and look at that pile of shame and tell myself, was I just kind of buying these all on this FOMO thought of, I'm totally going to get around to painting these goblins because I want a bunch of goblins because they were at the store and I thought it was a good idea. And then I got the 3D printer, right? And now I have the STL file for the goblin. I can print it up when I want. I can paint it when I'm ready. And it's got me to stop and reconsider myself. It's not necessarily something I need to have. I have to have it. I don't have to have a bunch of minis sitting around and painting because, well, no thanks to the 3D printer, I just make it when I want it. Which, it's not a bad thought to consider there, Vince. Some painting streams. I've done them before. I've jumped on with some friends in the past. I probably should get back around to it. I know that guys like, uh, snacks and T-shirt. Like they do a bunch of different like streams like that. Guys like Bruce Lambario will just that's all he does. He's talking movies. He's doing all this, doing all that, painting, painting, painting. It's 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 a pretty steady little thing he's doing there. I did start doing some painting, so I actually can show some effort for myself. In fact, give me 1 second here. Ah, ah. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but oh, of course I just keep dropping them. I actually was starting to do some painting here, like my little Wendigo looking dude. He's got a little bit of blue in his He's got a little bit of blue on his little butt flap. We got some nice little white flowers in the back with a little dot of red. We got some green vines, a few different colors of brown in there. It's been a nice little healthy steady thing, and I started turning into like a little bit of a routine of it where I'm like, yeah, and now I'm going to paint all these other guys' skin colors, and I can do all that together. Now I have a bunch of them that are sort of partially painted, but I guess that's sort of I guess to sort of tie this ultimately into a little bit of the stuff that was going on there. Um, you know, thanks to that 3D printer now, thanks to like digital distribution, tariffs don't have the same sort of threat there for hobbies. If especially if you're able to just make this stuff on the spot, able to distribute it and pass it around freely, which is a bit of a peculiar thing going on considering uh there was all the talk of the there we're kind of getting to it now. And getting into a little bit of the tariff talks. And while generally speaking, I haven't really delved much into politics here on the channel. I've not exactly hidden my thoughts on the politics. Uh, I generally speaking, I kind of like Trump, and I sort of see it as there's a long term down road plan probably going on. Put that into combination with the fact that you know Orange Man is actually pretty good friends with the Japanese. He was really good friends with Shinzo Abe, the former prime minister of Japan, before his untimely assassination. And I, I'm not so sure it's going to necessarily play a big impact into anime per se. I'm just sort of shot in the dark theory crafting here. But what I think he's doing is looking at Hollywood. At the end of the day, Trump wants jobs in America, and all these film productions have been going around the world to film in 70 countries, 170 countries, anywhere that they could get tax credits. And but that unfortunately means they're not filming in the US. I mean, let's stop and think about the CW. How many of those shows were all supposed to be set in like an American city, but they were all filmed up in Canada and Vancouver, all because it's trying to take advantage of like the price value with the Canadian dollar. And at the end of the day, I think it's ultimately meant to kind of play off of that. I mean, I don't think it's going to necessarily affect, say, us importing foreign films because, well, that's ultimately not what Trump wants. Look, I have a little bit of too much of that. Maybe I have a little too much of that hope, hope juice in me, the little rose tinted glasses to think like, no, he's totally got this. I don't know. I don't think it's going to necessarily be quite as bad as we think. But hang on, let me bring someone in here to kind of help bounce off some of these thoughts for me. I don't know. Should we? Let's give him a little different intro.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Hey, Stacks, how we doing? Ooh.
We're just doing what we normally do.
Little nipping and nagging, maybe?
Is that what we're doing?
Well, kind of.
Oh, damn, hey.
We're nabbing anyway.
Nabbing, yeah.
Which, by the way, looks like my schedule's gonna be clear. Well, I have a few days off this week, so
Oh, nice.
I should be able to come by it tomorrow with you.
Oh, is that right? Holy crap! Maybe I will do a nip and nag.
I mean, the problem is I oftentimes have to get up at like 4 a.m.
Yep,
and
100%. Yeah.
Once I get off t-shirts at like 8 or 9 o'clock, I gotta get to bed.
I get it. You have time for t-shirt, but not time for snacks.
Well, I mean, maybe if we did a little midday snacking.
It could.
But how are you doing, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. I'm hella tired though. Just the weekend was just nonstop, just go. So I've been a little tired.
Yeah, I feel you there. I had a bunch of family friends out at the house here. It was like 5 adults plus 2 kids, on top of the family that were here, which was like another adult, another kid, and my grandfather. So it was a pretty packed house.
Yep.
I mean, thankfully, they were able to go. The kids were all able to go around outside while I tried to wrangle people to try and play D&D.
Try, yes. D&D is a tough thing to round up people to do.
Well, the other name it could also go by is scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, I like rounding up people though. It sounds more hostile.
So did you happen to catch any of the what I was talking about there as you came in with all the tariff stuff?
Yeah, so we might have some troubles getting our things for a little bit. I think it's gonna freaking just I think it'll blow away in due time, but still it's not fun.
Yeah, no one ever said it's going to be fun. There's going to be some hardships, and many of us are all going to have to pay the price for this. Yeah. But that's sort of what a lot of people voted for and knew going in. Like, you're going to have to pay for some hardships here.
Yeah, I mean, eventually everything's going to be a lot better too. So it's going to hopefully be coming in cheaper, But
yeah, that's just the thing. Hopefully it will. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of the main thing we got to do. We got to sit here and hope it does, because at the end of the day, even if you didn't vote for the guy, you still want to see him do well, because he's sort of captaining the ship you're on.
Yeah, you don't want the ship to fall down. The ship sinks, you sink with it, and that's not good.
And the thing is, we were just sort of so content to kind of stay in our little echo chamber and just talk pop culture entertainment all the time, and I don't know about you, but like, I didn't want to have to pay attention to politics.
Not really. Yeah, no.
But the problem was, like, 10 years ago, all the Gamergate stuff happened, and well, you had all this push to try to force politics and try to change all this stuff over here in these little hobby spaces, to say that that's all problematic. That all has to be changed. Yeah. And
it wasn't the Gamergate problem. It was all those sneaky people that went in, and Gamergate just kind of just saw it and was just like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And at first it was it was politics within companies, and then it just became broad span freaking politics, and just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, we got another guest jumping in here. So,
Oh,
guys,
I wonder who it is.
without further ado, we have a Punkwaddle.
I could have been a contender. Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Heard we were shipping things.
We're trying to ship things, but dang it, it's harder and harder to do it now.
Yeah, especially when nobody cares about the Marvels. Who cares who gets together, right? Yeah, the one benefit of not having built any of my backlog of Gunpla for maybe the last 2 years means that while I wait for this stuff to balance out, I have a backlog of Gunpla that I haven't built for 2 years.
That's one way of looking at it, Punkwaddle. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
See, when you came in, I thought you were gonna say you were shipping Machu with Shuji.
Oh, that's already been shipped. Like in the writer's room, that's been shipped.
I'm really surprised it hasn't turned into like internet like, you know, shipping wars as like as like the Tumblr fanfic writers have to insist on a the lesbian romance to fulfill that.
Did we like live through that era already? Kind of.
Yeah, that was last season Gundam. Come on now.
Yeah.
But you forget like these modern fanfic writers are the types that have to have every series that that precedes it to be more progressive than the last.
Right.
It isn't enough that you got one; you have to keep getting them.
Yeah, you have to have them all, or else
it's not enough that they got one. It's more that they took something away.
Yep. And
all right, how can lesbians in space have any inch canon?
That's a good question, Punkwaddle.
So how can it be canon at all?
I need like a beard that's like twice as long, so I can be like that wise old Chinese master's like, ooh.
You know, I heard yesterday that Puff and Orge were looking for a bearded guy, a wise bearded guy with hair. They did something. I don't know. I thought of you. Then they said something about a C, and I thought maybe like Charlie Casino. I'm not sure who they're looking for. So we'll find out. Hopefully, I didn't spoil anything. Oh. But if they're too high, they won't remember what happened last week anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just slip in and tell them whatever, and they'd believe it.
That's true. You know, actually, you know what? I think an episode with Charlie and two potheads, because Charlie's gullible and believes everything, and botheads don't know the difference, would be an amazing conversation of nobody knows what's going on, but everybody's like, yeah, okay.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. Have to run that by.
And he's like, well, you know how it is. Charlie doesn't think that anyone on the internet would lie. Like everyone's just trying to be truthful.
No, everyone's trying to be serious, yeah.
So Charlie is in some ways the living magical embodiment of some of meme's favorite things to say on the internet, like means of destruction.
That's kind of what Gator is too.
Yeah, but
you mean people would lie on the internet?
You're right. They both kind of are, but they're both different sides of the concepts.
Why would someone do that?
Anyway, I don't want to break.
One looks at the landmine, the other one tap dances on it. Yeah.
He got told it was disarmed, so it's totally safe.
Yeah, it's a disarm. Yeah. And Gator's in there. It's like, I'm trying to turn this thing back on.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that, Gator. Oh, I got to work. What?
Boom.
Now that's a skit.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh, he's what happened to Gator? Oh, he's around there, and there, and there.
He's not all here yet, but the rest of them will drop in any time.
He got turned into a pink mist.
It's okay. He has a pretty good respawn rate.
Pretty good fun, right? Yeah, that's true.
They'll just make more.
Yeah. His favorite drink. Revival potions.
You see, children, when Gator was once a wee little goblin, he fell into a pot of magical potions and has thus inherited the healing properties of it. So now you can kill him as many times as you want, and he will get better.
Most people call me an XP farm. And then they batter me to death.
This is in no way a plot we stole from Asterix.
Of course not.
It's not a complicated plot. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, it's not like they can hold the
an annoying character that never dies. Come on.
Oh, that reminds me. I think there's supposed to be an Asterix movie coming out on Netflix this year.
Oh, that also reminds me of a song from a puppet about a song that never ends.
Uh-oh.
Well, see you next week, and we'll keep on singing.
Singing it, not knowing what it was. They'll could never
You're right.
sing it forever just because.
Guys, I know there's only a few people watching this, but the truth is, the puppet may be gullible, but the person behind the puppet, well, is somewhat of a shard of a embodiment of what that puppet is too.
Some people started singing it, and Punkwaddle's making fun of me. But it's okay, because I am singing forever just because.
Hey, and I'm singing. And
Star Wars!
Oh, where's Loki? You missed it.
Yeah, right?
He's probably lurking, though.
I don't even have to say it on his show.
Yeah.
He says also.
Anyway, yeah, so no, I agree with what you were saying before I got on Ironcaster about, like, it seems like every week there comes an announcement from Orange Man or part of his cabinet, or when that Kennedy guy talked about there's some issues, there's some concerns with, we are not saying that the vaccine causes autism, but there's some issues that we need to look into, because clearly there are certain rates that are going up that need to be addressed, and everybody freaks out. And like when they talked about the education, all the things, everybody freaks out. And then, a few days later, they're like, oh, well, there's this exception. They're not trying to just throw it all away. They're trying to clean it up.
Well, I mean, with that, there's like the question of long-term, and you could say generational side effects.
Yep.
But even with that, it's kind of hard to isolate to just only that.
Right.
I mean, there's arguments to be made about just the overuse of plastic.
And also
plastic.
Like, you know what?
Num.
But here's the thing, like when it comes to education, it's like, I don't think they're going to cut everybody's funding, grants, student aid, because let's face it, if people don't go to college and don't try to get a better education, we're going to be worse off than the people who don't want to be educated already.
Well, I mean, at the same time, there's also been just an over deification of a college education, and the idea that is the ticket in and of itself to financial success.
Right. Yeah. the the if then logic of things that were correlationally true in some ways had causality, 50 to 100 years ago. There's a lot of things that have shifted that make that system have changed, right? The inputs and outputs and throughputs.
Well, it's ultimately a matter of there's been just such effort put onto the college education that all of the trades have just been sort of
Yeah.
so poo-pooed, and like that's almost never becomes part of the discussion, where it's like, some of those jobs have a bit of a minimal financial input. You could actually make a decent living off of those.
One of the few people I've met, like, okay, the joke about people in the fandom, but we've all heard of X-Ray Girl, who worked on X-ray machines, like, because that in and of itself, I don't know if it still is, but there was a time where like they didn't have people doing those jobs or wanting to do those trades or wanting to have those specialties because nobody really talks about it. And you're like, well, it's a medical thing and I don't want to be in the medical field. Well, being a technician in a medical field doesn't mean that you're dealing with, there's all the parts that they just don't talk about. You're either going to be a doctor or a nurse. Well, I mean, the medical system needs a lot of administration, technicians, a whole lot of other things to function, right?
Yeah, it's like, but what if no?
Yeah.
So, while we were talking here, I went and looked up a little bit on that Asterix series I mentioned.
Okay.
And actually, as it turns out, this past week, it actually apparently dropped on Netflix.
Okay.
So, in case you're not familiar with it, Asterix is a bande dessinée of Franco-Belgian comic series starring these little plucky Gauls in the year like 50 BC, as they seem to be the only thing that stops Julius Caesar from fully conquering Europe. This one little village in France.
Mm-hmm.
The year is 50 BC. Gaul is entirely occupied by the Romans. Well, not entirely. One small village of indomitable Gauls is still holding out against the invaders. Thus begins the tale of Asterix and Obelix, beloved fixtures of the French comic franchise created by René Goscinny and Albert Uderzo in 1959, whose names I probably just bastardized.
Yeah. I love it. You did a great job of bastardization.
Since that time, the two Gaul warriors who take on the Romans with the help of a magic potion brewed by their druid have appeared in 40 volumes, translated into more than 120 languages, and adapted into 15 films, including the 2023 Netflix live-action movie Asterix and Obelix: The Middle Kingdom.
Oh.
Now the duo is back.
Which kingdom?
China.
China.
Now the duo is back in Asterix and Obelix: The Big Fight, a new animated series created by Alan Chabet, written and directed by the 2002 live-action hit writer directed the 02 series Mission Cleopatra. Chabet also directed along with Fabrice Gilbert, and his co-wrote the series in collaboration with Benoit Oulian and Piano.
His name is Piano?
And Piano. I'm sorry, no, I didn't say it French enough. Piano.
Oh, yes. It's pronounced piano.
If it was written by a piano, is it his opus?
Don't look at me. It's too grandstanding.
I mean, the fact that they've got the same director who's done a number of these in the past, if anything, that does feel right to me. To see that, someone who's been a part of this franchise for well over 20 years is still around. That Netflix is willing to work with him.
And Netflix is in the last 2 years, especially the stuff they've come out with, they've listened to the audience, especially after the Cowboy Bebop and everything else. that like, oh, this is what fans want, and if we make this and they're happy and we can make money making more, okay, we can respect a lot of people and have good rapport. Yeah.
Yeah, people like Cowboy Bebop. Yeah.
Oh, side note, and I think Polly called this out, but a few people like the Danielle and Pineda, whatever, like she was trying to say that no, I never said that. I never said that to fans, and people like throwing receipts back at her, like, yeah, you did.
You know what they
Yeah.
say? The internet never forgets.
Yeah.
She was reading the culture, but she wasn't reading the fans. And
No.
unfortunately, it was the toxic culture she was reading. And it's like,
Yeah.
I get it when you're an actor, so you have to play a fake person to get work sometimes. But
Yeah.
sometimes that is gonna bite you in the ass more than you'll. Well,
Well,
she's finding out now that she's fucked around already. So
I don't want to run too much on this, but I feel like a lot of the things we've seen, like she teetered and pushed too far, and people who might have been okay with the adaptation said it was mediocre. Some things were okay. We're just like, because of that interaction, it tainted the whole. It was a bad taste in the mouth. But I feel we've hit the epitome of that with the Snow White treatment recently, and so if that's not a
she went full bore on that one.
if that's not a cautionary tale of like the tales of the plight of Didymus or whatever the plight of Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, just to have it fall down and push it up. If the absurdity, like the French author who wrote the essay on it, the absurdity of how far it went with the Snow White, if that's not a cautionary tale for other people to be like, maybe this is a bad idea. Yeah.
So,
Camus.
a couple of things I'm looking at over this list here. I'm so glad to see there's no Pedro Pascal in this.
I'm surprised. Wow, really? Is it even a movie now?
Is it French people?
Slash TV show?
This is a as far as I can tell, a 5-episode miniseries.
Okay.
And there's no Pedro Pascal.
Right.
Is it even in English?
Is it real?
This is your English voice cast,
Okay.
which includes characters such as Metadata, Fast and Furious, Getafix, Nimbus, Vital Statistics, Black.
I want to meet
Bacteria.
I want to meet Black Angus.
How about
Is he related to
Hygienics?
Do you think he's related to Black Aragorn?
He might be.
Okay.
Let's see. So this is, as I said, this is now available on Netflix, and this is one I've been kind of, low key excited for. It was over the course of like the lockdowns that I had started to check out some Asterix, and I kind of fell in love with it. It's this great little, fairly innocent, comic series. I mean, these characters have such like have such memorable character designs to them. Give me 1 second. I will pull up some examples for you here.
Yeah, pull up.
Cool.
There we go. As you see, they are beating up the Romans.
That just looks like I mean, forgive me, but it looks like a modern Popeye.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a 1992, like,
yeah,
trying to be vintage.
Yeah.
Well, this is from like 59.
Oh, okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah. That would be Popeye area, huh?
But they've gone on to have like a dozen or so movies, 40 comic volumes. This has had a steady little ongoing thing that just it never really caught on the stateside. Plus, look, at the end of the day, not everything around here can be big robots. Sometimes you want to have some fantasy, and you just want to see like some Romans just get punched into the stratosphere.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a thing. Yes.
Oh, and they also have some pretty memorable characters, like the pirates.
People like pirates.
Oh, trust me, you'll never forget these pirates.
Oh. Is that his peg leg?
Hey, it's Mr. Popo from
Yeah.
DBZ.
I'm actually surprised that this character is going to make it into the Netflix show. And it's sort of like a saving grace that like Americans have never really caught on with Asterix, that, you know, the big lip black pirate has gone under the radar for 60 years.
I mean, Mr. Popo still is kind of like some people called it out a little bit, but nobody's really canceled Mr. Popo.
Oh, but they've tried. There's always someone trying to cancel something. And they'll always keep trying until they can get something to succeed. Poor pirates. If you've read the stories, you'll know. Oh, trust me, like from the like probably half dozen or so of them that I've been able to track down and read, it never ends well for those pirates. My favorite is they see Obelix is coming, and so rather than having him destroy their boat, they just sink it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to come smashing through and destroy the boat. Let's see. There's Pedro. He plays the Minheres. No, that was Geode. Geode got another job.
It's about time.
I mean,
He's hardworking rock, you know. He's just as hard as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
So, with all the talk we've had of like tariffs and that, it also brings to mind all the talk of video games. And I don't know if you guys have been tracking the video game world and all the news going on there.
Try to keep up, but there's so much. There's a few good games. There's some, some of the. I know Oblivion dropped. I know that's old news now, but when that dropped, it overshadowed for a minute the Expedition 33, which apparently is taking the world by storm, being a good hybrid RPG, French made, and all this stuff. But I do understand there's some other ports and there's some other stuff going on that, and I'm going to say this, I wish I knew the consistent time of when that game place showed up, because they talk about some of the stuff like with culture and Loki and some of our friends, but half the time I don't know if they know when they're going live.
The problem is they have to be able to fit it in between Culture's schedule of like 32 live streams he shows on during the week.
Yeah. And then if there's a Nintendo Direct, they'll do it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then nobody knows until 5 p.m. that it already happened.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
The big talk of this week, well, the last couple days, is the fact that Microsoft just came out and announced, well, two things.
Okay.
The smaller of them was the Gears of War remaster coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So we are getting just the first one here, but Gears of War number 1 is coming back. We are getting a full remaster of it, and it is coming to PC, the new Xboxes, and PlayStation.
Oh.
And this was one of those Halo killers that was under, Microsoft's hat.
Mm-hmm.
The other news, and the bigger one that's going to probably ultimately be more remembered, was the price hikes.
Yep.
Yeah, Microsoft announced that they're going to be doing some considerable price hikes on these consoles. Hey, you guys
Yeah.
remember when like video game consoles got cheaper as the generation went on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? The PS5 had a price hike. The Xbox had a price hike. The new Switch is getting a considerable price hike, but that's a new console.
Yeah. At least that follows the old trend, although that's about one of the only thing that Nintendo's doing and following the old trend. But
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing, and tell me if I'm jumping the gun, but the fact that Microsoft and Xbox is basically all but said they're turning into streaming boxes for games, right?
Well, Xbox has largely been going that way for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they want to put what Game Pass onto like the Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah.
It really doesn't surprise me to see that they're going to go that way with it. I mean,
We-
heck, if at this point, if they could put, I mean, plus there was some talk about like the new Microsoft console is going to have like Steam integration, which is an interesting little tidbit aside.
Well, it would make sense since they are PC. I mean, if Xbox and PC combined, would that be like PC X chromosome master race?
I guess you just have a Steam Deck.
Yeah. Fair. Well,
Yeah.
it's like the inversion, and I'll say this: it's like the inversion of like you said the Fire Stick, which started with streaming, and then they tried to go into games, but they couldn't really hack it. But if you have a gaming streaming box, right, that then has powerful and is designed to do that, it can easily go into the streaming platform, the all-in-one box that Amazon couldn't quite get to, because if the gaming hardware is good, the rest of it should just fall into place, right? So they're going to be your one-stop shop for your plug it into your wall screen so you can sit there.
I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, Microsoft is concerned about getting people to buy the games.
Yeah.
If they're on Game Pass, the issue is they already have a captured audience there, and they ultimately just want to get more people to come in and pick their games up. So
Mhm.
if it means they can, they just have to put a port of the game out,
Mhm.
then they'll do it. If it means you fork over that $50-$60. I mean,
Yep.
the funny thing is, right? There's all these like PlayStation fanboys out here who seem to just act like they're winning when, actually, Microsoft's kind of winning, guys.
Yep.
If you're buying those games, you're putting money in Microsoft's pocket. They don't
Yep.
care how they get it; they just care that they get it.
It's like what Loki and a few other people said last week. It's like you just gave them permission, and enough people shouted online that you got a problem with this. What's wrong with you? Cool. So you just justified there. Even it was of a couple people and a bunch of bots, right? You just, yeah.
And a lot of dummies just being like, they don't want to cry about the price because it's like, they don't want to. Nobody wants to seem like they're poor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like,
Well, there's some people who if you're crying for money, you're like, oh, I'm poor. But if you're if you're like, with your friends or whatnot, you don't want to seem like you're the poor guy.
the funny thing is though, is the people that aren't poor aren't the ones who will pay the for the most exorbitant priciest thing every time, because
Yes.
they're trying to keep money, not show that they can
People
spend money.
bad with their money. That's the ones who spend. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of people have no discipline when it comes to financial. We'll just say extracurricular activities.
It's like
I'm certainly not going to act like I have any big strength there. Like I've just sort of started to look at ways I could reconsider the hobby stuff that I am into.
Yeah.
I mean, so for example, it's like I'm looking at all the Gunpla kits, and it's like I still want to buy kits, I still want to build those, but like now that I have the 3D printer, I'm stopping to think about it. Like, well, could I just print the parts off?
I mean, maybe if you had the right plastic, if you had the right, all the right, files.
Well, if you remember,
But
about
they do
2
plastic.
years ago,
Yeah,
about 2 years ago, the Gundam Metaverse, which by the way, guys, is
Yeah,
still a thing, and they're
I
still having like
remember this,
Hatsune
yes.
Miku concerts.
Yeah.
The STL files, or
Mhm.
the full sprue runners for like a bunch of the RG kits that had not been produced yet, all got leaked. People, and so there are perfect like scanned, detailed
Mhm.
scans of those runners.
Yep.
Meaning they're out there on the internet. People could just go and print those off.
Yep. You're not wrong.
I mean, the thing is, like, you can even sit down and just like probably cut down and print out just like that one little piece you want. So if you want to just try to print like a single arm off or get a couple extra connector pieces, you could do all that.
Yeah, make sure that
True.
you're
Only one thing you can't do with those, and that's entering a competition.
Well, I guess it's ultimately a matter of
Gunpla competitions. You can't have them. Can't have any. Was it printed parts? Right.
depends depending on exactly what it is. There's sometimes they'll have like parameters of only so much, and you can have some scratch build stuff, or if there's a 3D printed part. But unless they're really cracking down and being like, no, you need to fabricate that yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of like with a lot of like tabletop wargaming. Warhammer, for example, they do have the challenge of 3D printing coming their way. I mean, here I am. Hello, these would have been like probably minis or something that I would have gotten from like a Warhammer.
Oh my god, they're so
store.
expensive. Like freaking. I was just looking at them. I don't have any like army or anything like that. But I know of 40K, right?
Mhm.
I was just like, I wonder what it'd be like to just paint a whole bunch of Space Marines and whatnot. And I'm like looking at them, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's put this back on the shelf.
Well,
Let me look this up real quick. A combat patrol box of Space Marines, which has about 13 Marines in it, goes for $150.
Yeah, no.
And how many of the people, the Warhammer people and all that in the last especially year and a half have been like, what is this Bandai? What is this Gundam? How come for $15 I can do all of this?
There was
for 115, I get a group,
Yeah.
small group of.
For 115, you can have an army of GMs.
So
at least a 4 squad of Zakus.
Yeah.
So I just went and printed off about four miniatures I got from that were like the Hell Divers. Like someone went and made, like basically took the files out and made little like 28mm scale Hell Divers.
Oh, cool.
Doing the cost analysis on my printer, it cost me like 50 cents to print those just in resin alone.
Yep.
Okay.
And I buy that stuff by like $15, $16 bottle. So I could print off like 30 of those guys out of a single bottle, as opposed to getting twice as many, for half as many from Games Workshop for 6 times the price.
So your resources are easily and readily available in the States at this point.
That's just honestly, that's just ordering that from Amazon. But
okay,
there was a video I had caught from a guy who was in the war game space.
Okay.
And he was talking about the Gundam tabletop game.
Mm-hmm.
How he believes it is probably one of the few games that's going to pose a threat to Games Workshop's dominance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. They don't have to outright destroy them, but they just have to take away and draw in enough attention.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the fact that Gundam is a known property, is a known brand, half your marketing is already right there. People know people have a general there is a general understanding of Gundam being a thing. It was one of the big anime that really kicked on in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
People think Gundam Wing. So there's that familiarity there. There's always a Gundam series going on. There's talk about a Gundam live action movie coming out.
Yep.
So it's soaked into the zeitgeist. And looking at what we've seen from the Gundam War game, tabletop game, you might only need to have like 4 or 5 minis to be able to play. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't exactly have to drop in, hundreds of dollars to $1,000 just to have an army to play. No, if
Right.
let's say you want to go out, you want to have some extra bells and whistles. Oh, $80, and then you're good.
Mm.
Plus, they're already in those hobby shops, so it's like you're already there. You're gonna probably buy some pretty decent paints. Those the
Yeah.
panel liner.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
there's a lot of potential there to be had.
like I said, I don't know if you've done research. I haven't to see how long they've been working on developing the Gundam tabletop game, but like I said, with all the Warhammer people being like, "Oh, what is this?" I mean, it's almost like they did some marketing and tried to do some push and like got their name out there and like, we also make models. Oh, this is fun. Oh, they do a lot of good things. Oh, I really appreciate the quality and the style. And oh, you just made something for me in my what I love to do. Oh, so you just catered to me, the miniature maker.
Yep. Which
And
there,
so
there is a lot of crossover between those two.
yeah, and so it's like, and okay, for those of us who have a big backlog, and you say you've made like 4 or 5 Zakus or some Xeons, really similar ones, and you've made a couple GMs or maybe a couple GM and master grades, and you're like, okay, I get what Bandai is doing and I get the tooling and I really like it, but I kind of want to change a pace. I want to try. Do I want to try Kotobukiya because they're pretty well known, or there's a lot of these other quote third party or Chinese model companies that they're getting good reviews. They don't have the bad flash and all the issues the way that they had like 5 or 10 years ago. And you're like, oh, I want to try and see what that brand. I want to see what they're doing. What's unique? What sets them apart? Because I want to learn about not just how Bandai does it, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Dave has a question for us here.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you had a blank check to buy your favorite Gundam, Transformer, action figure, ship, starfighter, whatever, what would you get?
Good question.
There's part of me, my initial thought, and I might have to think about this longer, but one of the first thing that comes to my mind is one of those older school, like it was I think it might have been the 7-Up, but it was, or not, or 7-Eleven, but it was the Perfect Raid Green Astray from Seed. And there's
I think I remember that one.
Because like that one's huge, and then I think it has the sword, the katanas, and some of the other like bazooka. Like it's a cross between the blue and green, and it has some cool armaments. That one, I mean, the Astray for especially when you're getting into Gundam, and I guess getting into Gundam when I did around 2017. So a lot of that Seed stuff was still being pushed and still very prominent and easy to get to.
So, there's one I would really like to have right now, and I have the money. I could buy it.
Oh,
and the only thing that's kind of making me stop is I'm kind of thinking with the 3D printer, like, could I just find the files and maybe find a fan made version of this character?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have a copy of, as I pull him up here,
Mhm.
Tarn
Oh,
from Transformers.
okay.
He was. It was a bit of a dream character for me. He's this Decepticon assassin who's able to like kill with his whistle. Basically, he keeps the other Decepticons in line, and he goes out his way to do executions if need be.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Also, he looks good.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that aside, there's a couple of common riders I would love to have figures of, or like my boy Wizard. Or if we're talking Gundam, then I would love to get a new version of the Buster Gundam from Seed.
Yeah. Yeah. And not one of those like hybrid, because the Seed Trailblazers or whatever like that. You know, those were fun designs, but they're not the OG ones.
Well, yeah, but also some of the modeling on those wasn't the best.
Yeah, no, I agree. That it was kind of it was neat. It was a novelty, but it wasn't as good as some of the classics.
Yep.
What about you guys? If you could have that sort of blank check one, or Vince, that's right. How can we forget? Vince has the real answer there.
That was going to be my second, if they only made it, and it was either Tequila Gundam or Bravern. It's just those two were the only answers.
Nice.
Okay, that would have been my third choice.
Yeah.
I mean, for a life-size mobile suit, a high mobility TriStar Zaku would be high up there, especially with the one with the axe.
Oh yeah.
So what you're saying is we need to be the black TriStars.
Honestly, the Black TriStars would be a great build.
Yeah, and the Origin line has some nice ones for that. They're pretty clean for the Zakus.
Yep. Yeah, I built one of those. They're actually, yeah, it's a good build. Origin, yeah, that is a good line.
Is there a Taco Gundam?
I mean, it is Quinta de Mayo. Cinco. I don't know why I said Quinta. Wow, numbers aren't right. Cinco de Mayo. So I think.
Were you trying to say Quinceañera?
I think it's been a long day. I didn't get enough sleep.
Trying to say the Taco Gundam. But he's been drinking too much tequila, so he's drinking the tequila.
Oh, sí, señor.
Sí, señor.
No, I had a little cerveza this weekend, but.
We have one too many cervezas now. I take a siesta.
So, it was the
Zeong?
The Zeong.
Oh, the Zeong. Perfect Zeong. Honestly, Big Zam. A perfect grade, Big Zam. Straight up. Were you about to say that too?
Well, I was going to say the Big Zam, or what was it, the I think G3 or that Perfect Gundam?
Yeah. What about the Mamaku or whatever, the Belly Beam from Build Fighters? Belly Beam!
Actually, I really would love to. Well, how about we just compromise? We just go for the crossbone.
Yes. Well, okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to crossbone figures, I might already own the 0x metal build full cloth with the shotguns that fold out into the beam swords and with all the accoutrements.
You do.
I may have like set an alarm to wake up at 3 a.m. to pre-order that when I knew it was coming out because I wanted that more than anything at the time.
There you go.
As one should.
That was a hefty price.
So, how much would you pay in 2025 for an original Gunpla kit?
Ooh.
An original or a reprint?
Oh, I mean, like, well, unfortunately, these are 81, but these are as close to original as I can find.
Okay. Do I get to build them?
Yes.
Okay.
You have the big chunky.
I would definitely want the
I just want the Char.
actually the fact that there's a guy in there is kind of enticing.
Yeah.
I remember in like that mid 90s or so when Wing was first coming over, those early Gunpla kits would give you the little tiny figure like that you would then have to paint.
Oh yeah, some of them still have them, but not as much anymore, do they?
Yeah, not really.
The master grades I still think do, and maybe some RGs. I don't know.
So the last week or so, I've decided to go and start rewatching Wing because it's been 30 years. And I think I'm about 7 episodes in or so now. It's been a good little stroll down memory lanes. I'm kind of like revisiting, remembering like, oh yeah, there was a lot more political intrigue to the show than I remember there being.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I there's certain key points I still remember, like how they all got tricked into just eliminating all the pacifists.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Trays could basically instill a military coup. It's like, oh,
I'd like
that
to
is brilliant.
invite you to my birthday party.
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. What? This is when the we'll just say ooh shooter vibes right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, and Knowing has like the most badass move where she like drops that dude out of the back of the plane, and then as he's falling through the air, headshots him.
Yeah.
It's like she could have just left him to like fall to his death, but no, she had to make sure it happened. Meanwhile, the plane is still flying, and here he is just falling through the air. Greatest shot I think I've seen in anime.
The aquatic freaking mobile suits are proper aquatic, prepared, but they just get murked anyways because Gundam.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate too because they're like in the second or third episodes, so it's like, hey, this is something we don't get to see a whole lot. Like actually, like intended and designed aquatic mobile suits, and I don't mean like the Neptune from G.
Yeah. No,
Honestly, oh, sorry.
I was just. I remember because they had hinted that maybe they might have started doing some of the grunts on P Bandai for some of the Wing stuff, and maybe now that we're in the 30-year anniversary, maybe we'll actually see some of those because there's a couple of really old kits that just aren't going to do it justice. But other than the Leo and what was that other big one that had the Gatling guns? I have the kit.
The Tauros, maybe?
Huh?
Maybe the Tauros?
Tariffs is pretty good. Yeah,
Maybe.
Like,
That's
I
kind of
would
the
say
heavy. That's
Yeah, I
if-
think
grunt
so.
heavy.
if you're gonna do grunts, well, really, there's 4 options. The Leo's
Okay.
an obvious one. That one is
Yeah.
like you just have to do the Leo.
Well, they just finished their P Bandai line of like alternate universe Leos.
Really now.
Like one has, yeah, because there's the red one with the cape. There's the green one with the axe, and there's the bluish white one that looks kind of like Nobel with the hair.
Huh.
And they look pretty good. Like it's the green one with the big shoulder pads and looks like it has a military kind of look. And the big axe is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Did not know
I want
those.
I want more Jesta and Jagan variants. I'm not gonna lie.
You do like the Jagans, don't you?
Yeah, and I do want to be the court Jesta.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Gator can be that.
see, I would almost love to have just like a diorama on a shelf with like the 5 wing Gundams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe heroes decide to like chop a plane in half, but then as I'm going down the list, I'm starting to see more of these stuff like hey, I never did get a Noble Gundam, or
Yeah.
hey, the ass hair, that's a thing.
What? The little round discus thing?
The ass him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the ass himar.
The ass hatter. Yeah, there's another variant of that, like there's 2 variant. There's the basic one and then the kind of later variant, and they're both a discus.
Of course,
And
I would
I've
also
always
love to
wanted-
have. I would also love to have like a gun tank.
Yeah, like an OG gun tank.
Gun tanks are cool.
Especially if they're Zaku, right?
Oh yeah.
I know he heard me.
Oh no, I did. Oh, if they made a proper like master grade gun tank,
Oh yeah,
or Zaku tank,
yeah.
yeah, make that one, but like the Thunderbolt one with the yeah, that'd be good.
This is bad. I'm starting to go down and I'm just doing shopping now.
Oh no.
Oh,
Sure,
he's on
gun
it.
tank
He's
tomorrow.
on it.
Ronnie, you
He's on
should.
He's on the shop again. Ah.
He's gonna service his gun tank tomorrow. Is that gonna show up on the Nip and Nag? How you service your gunpla?
Well, guys, I think at this is probably a good time to wind down because it's starting to get a little late here. Again, I have to be up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
Really?
it's good.
Wow.
It's good to take off. Yeah, don't go in the shop anymore.
Yeah.
I was worried it was going to be like 20 more seconds, and you're going to start showing us plastic waifus.
I mean, no.
He's gonna 3D print his waifus.
Resin.
I
waifu.
printed one.
So far, how'd she turn out?
So far. It was a little goblin about yay big.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Maybe I'll
You know what they
maybe
say
I'll
about
be
the
bold
first
enough-
girl, right?
Yes.
He's gonna have a harem.
Idiot.
that's what you
Yep,
say about
you
your
do too.
ex.
He's gonna have
And
a
then I put them
harem.
all into a jar.
Oh, no.
They all go in the jar.
I'm hoping this is a euphemism at this point.
Probably isn't.
It's the internet. What do you think happens with the jar?
I've heard a lot of different things for a lot of different jars.
You put cookies in jars.
Hmm
That's what
And
I know
waifus.
about jars.
You put money in jars.
Whoa. Well, apparently we're not putting snacks in the jar. Hey, Punkwaddle, wait right there a minute. go get something. It's totally not a jar.
Okay. Well, this is something.
It is something.
Crap, where did the jar go?
You just said it wasn't a jar. Now I heard her say he's looking
Oh,
for it.
oh, we're back.
I was in the jar. It was not nice. I didn't like it.
Don't worry. I promise. There's whiskey in the jar.
Okay, that's cool. I'm a penguin in a box.
But guys, I think we've had enough of this nonsense. All right, we got a nip and a nuggets for us next. Did you say yes?
Ground control.
Ground control to who?
You.
I asked, do we have a nip and nag tomorrow?
Yeah, we do. We will. I lost a piece.
Oh no,
Maybe.
not again.
So today was officially a nip and nag as well.
So I didn't get a chance to talk about it tonight. Maybe I should have, but this past Saturday was Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Shit, I didn't even know. I was working like
Nice, you got one. Did it come with anything else? Because somebody said it was coming with a gunpla or some sort of kit.
The way the article I read about that last week, or like a couple weeks ago, described it, it sounded like there could have been, but I didn't see any in my shop.
Okay.
So maybe I'll show a little bit of that off tomorrow. Show off the other, big robot related one, which is actually a really good comic.
Nice.
Okay.
But Punkwaddle, what's coming on? You got another ponderance?
Yeah, I'll get some positivity probably tomorrow. I tried to break the ice this morning, celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo.
Now, did you do it or did Drunkwaddle do it?
I did it, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to find Drunkwaddle's hat. That might be why you haven't seen him in a while. And I don't want to order another one because I already ordered a second one that I can't find.
They went to the hat dimension.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So tomorrow there may not be a talk hard.
Okay.
Because
And that's why you're coming over to my channel.
Well, that too. No, apparently he's off to meet grandbaby number 7.
Oh. Okay.
But we'll see. If there is, we'll be there talking tomorrow about Spirited Away. If not, I don't know. Maybe we'll either bump it or we'll do it next week instead. We'll see. But guys, as always, I want to thank you all for coming on out. Vince, for dropping all those links. You, sir, have been a big old help for me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. DJ Ronnie, I love you, man. You're out there. Keep me company. And it helps me feel, it does help that reassurance to know that there's people out here wanting to listen to me talk about whatever. So with that, guys, let's get out of here. I don't think we've done this one in a while. We'll play
I love
the
this
outro.
one.
You know the one.
Yeah, I do.
All right, guys.
Well,
Get ready for the battles. That's right.
Welcome. This right here is the annual Fellow Mobile Suit Show. We veterans of the one you war gather our old mobile suits and we share the stories, we teach the youngins, and we just have a good time. This boy right here is the RGM-79 Jim. Deployed in it at Jabro, we was assigned to protect the southwestern quadrants from the Zeeks. Remember in battle, I managed to shoot down 3 of them teddy bears and 7 of them Z-Goks. Didn't get hit or nothing either. The beauty of the gym lies in its simple frame. You can modify whatever you want it. Low atmo, high atmo, cold, hot, underwater, colony, and space. Yes, sir. Here's my buddy Derek. Tell us about your shoot, Derek. This right here is the RX-75 gun tape mass production type. It has minimum weight of 56 metric tons, power output of 878 kilowatts, and is equipped with a pair of 120mm low recoil cannons and a pair of 40mm 4-barrel bot missile launchers. I deployed it in heavy artillery base assault ops in Southeast Asia. Though it may not go as fast as other mobile suits, no suit can hit a base from 200 kilometers like this one can. Yes, sir. Each year we do this show, a big star is Jobber's Fed Guy. Tell us about the Fed Guy, Jobber. This suit, originally built by the Zeeks, is a modified MSM-04 AT guy. During the attack on Jabro, my squadron of GMs surrounded and captured this AT guard with minimal damage. We equipped it with experimental artillery and I was designated to be its pilot. During the final land ops of the war, I snuck straight to the Zeke's main California base, destroyed their HQ and comm facilities, and jerried right out of there. Because of the Fed Guy right here, the entire Federation was able to retake the entire West Coast.